There is one thing in your life that you can count on. One. And that thing is change. It is the one thing you can be certain of. If you're depressed today, I can guarantee you you won't be in an hour or a day or 2 days from now. And if you're happy today, I can pretty much guarantee you that before the week is out, you'll be unhappy, or you might even be depressed. Because life is a wheel, and that's the way it works. It turns. And as long as you can remember that, you can get through anything. And as long as you remember that, you will not be seduced by either the extreme highs or the extreme lows, because you'll know that they are both in transition and they will both change. And you can adapt to that change as long as you know it's coming. And what's really going on when you're depressed is you're stuck in an emotion. And that emotion is fear. Because there are only two emotions, love and fear. That's it. There are only two emotions, love and fear. Now, your brain is saying, no, she's wrong, because there's depression, and there's anger, and there's rage, and there's anxiety, and on the negative side, and then there's joy, and there's exhilaration. There's all these. No, there are only two emotions, love and fear. Every negative emotion you will ever feel is a derivative of fear. And every happy emotion, every positive emotion you will ever experience is a derivative of love. So when you're depressed, when you're angry, when you're anxious, somewhere inside of you, you're frightened of something. And the goal is to move from fear to love, because that's how you get out of a negative emotion. Whatever that negative emotion is, you get out of it by moving from fear to love. And it's so pointless to want something that someone else has, because somewhere someone's wanting what you have, because everyone has gifts. The gifts don't count, by the way. They're easy. They're all the stuff you can do with your eyes closed. What counts is the hard stuff, the stuff you actually have to push yourself to do. That's the stuff that counts, because that's where the real benefit is. That's the struggle coming up through the muck. That's where you get the greatest thrill, because when the sunshine hits that, boy, you can remember being in the dark. And it feels really good. It feels really good. If your parents think you should be a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist, or whatever it is, a financial planner, and you want to sew costumes on Broadway, or you want to own a bookstore or a flower shop, this is what you really have to do. Because if you don't, you live an inauthentic life, and you're setting yourself up for all kinds of pain. So I like to say that we have inside our bodies a GPS. Anybody have a GPS in their family's car? Yeah, lots of global positioning system. You tell it where, you type in where you want to go and it gets you there. You have one in your body. You were born with it. It's called your heart. It will never steer you wrong. Never. Now your brain will play a lot of games. Your brain will tell you lots of stuff, But if you check in with your heart, how you feel will never lie to you. So for example, if you're out partying and you're drinking and you're doing drugs, or you're doing something crazy, or you're shoplifting, or you're doing stuff, crazy stuff with people, your brain will tell you you're having a great time, this is terrific, this is cool. If you really check in with your heart, you don't feel so good. Because somewhere it's not in your interest to be doing this stuff. And it's the same thing with everything else in your life. If you check in with your heart, with your GPS, I call it a God positioning system, but that's a word I use. You can call it anything you want. If you check in with your heart, you'll always know if you're on the right track. So if you're standing with friends and they're making fun of another kid in the lunchroom, and you feel really badly, but your mind is saying, well, I better keep quiet, because it wouldn't be cool if I jumped in on her side, because everybody else is not on her side. Well, your brain is telling you one thing, but your heart is telling you something else. And the more authentically you live, the more you are true to your heart, and And the more courage you have around that, the more likelihood you're going to be happy.